Hari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Nitya Gora Haribo, 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 Nitya Gora Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nashta Praeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Agyanatimirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Militanjena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So welcome everyone to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class on the very auspicious occasion of the appearance of Lord Nrsimha. Nrsimha Bhagavan Ki Jai. So today we'll be reading from the 7th canto, chapter 8. This is entitled The Lord Slays the King of the Demons. And we'll be reciting text 17. Here we are. Satyam vidatum nijabritya bhasitam Vyaptim cha bhuteshvakileshu chatmana Adrishya tatyad bhutarupamudvahan Stambhe sabhayam namrigam namanusham Satyam vidatum nijabritya bhasitam Vyaptim cha bhuteshvakileshu chatmana. Adrishyatat bhutarupamudvahan. Stambhe sabhayam namrigam namanusham. Please chant. Adrishyatat bhutarupamudvahan. Stambhe sabhayam namrigam namanusham. Let's do the word for word together. Satyam, true. All together in unison. Satyam, true. Vidatum, to prove. Nijabritya bhasitam, the words of his own servant Prahlad Maharaj, who had said that his Lord is present everywhere. Vyaptim, the pervasion. Cha, and. Bhuteshu, among the living entities and elements. Akileshu, all. Cha, also. Atmana, of himself. Adrishyata, was seen. Ati, very. Adbhuta, wonderful. Rupam, form. Udvahan, taking. Stambhe, in the pillar. Sabhayam, within the assembly. Na, not. Mrigam, an animal. Na, nor. Manusham, a human being. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. To prove the statement of his servant Prahlad Maharaj was substantial, in other words, to prove that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even within the pillar of an assembly hall, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, exhibited a wonderful form never before seen. The form was neither that of a man nor that of a lion. Thus, the Lord appeared in his wonderful form in the assembly hall. Report. When Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, "Where is your Lord? Is he present in this pillar?" Prahlad Maharaj fearlessly replied, "Yes, my Lord is present everywhere." Therefore, to convince Hiranyakashipu that the statement of Prahlad Maharaj was unmistakably true, the Lord appeared from the pillar. The Lord appeared as half lion and half man, so that Hiranyakashipu could not understand whether the great giant was a lion or a human being. To substantiate Prahlad's statement, the Lord proved that his devotee, as declared in Bhagavad Gita, is never vanquished. Konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Prahlad Maharaj's demoniac father had repeatedly threatened to kill Prahlad, but Prahlad was confident that he could not be killed, since he was protected by the Supreme Lord. By appearing from the pillar, the Lord encouraged his devotee, saying in effect, "Don't worry, I am present here." By manifesting his form as Nrsimhadev, the Lord also preserved the truth of Lord Brahma's promise that Hiranyakashipu was not to be killed by any animal or any man. The Lord appeared in the form that could not be said to be fully a man or a lion. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, I think everyone here knows the story of Prahlad and Nrsimhadev, how Prahlad was being tortured by his father in so many different ways. But he was never afraid. He was never daunted because he was fully confident of the Lord's protection at all times. And so he was just taking more and more shelter of the Lord. And finally, when Hiranyakashipu reached the peak of his anger, and he couldn't understand, where are you getting your strength from? He asked Prahlad, I don't understand it. You're just a 5-year-old boy. I'm the emperor of the entire universe. I'm the strongest person that exists. And you're just this weak little 5-year-old boy, and still you're not afraid of me. You can't be killed by me. There's nothing that I can do to even scratch you. Where do you get your strength from? Where do you get your empowerment? And Prahlad says, my dear father, the source of my strength is also the source of your strength. In fact, he's the source of everyone's strength. He's the only only source of strength in the whole creation. Hiranyakashipu got so angry. He's like, well, where is he then? Is he in this pillar? Of course, he's everywhere. He's also in the pillar. All right, then I want to see him. And then he attempts to smash the pillar. And then there's this sound that emerges, a thunderous sound that resounds throughout the whole universe. And then Lord Nrsimhadev emerges. So I want to focus in this class on the form of Lord Nrsimhadev, because the Lord has all of these transcendental characteristics, his name, form, qualities, and pastimes. So we're all very familiar with the name of Lord Nrsimhadev, with the pastime of Lord Nrsimhadev, but sometimes we don't take the time to really meditate on the form of Lord Nrsimhadev and how wonderful it is, because it's described here as Adbhuta Rupa, the wonderful form. And then the song we sing, we say Adbhuta Shringam. That his Shringa means beautiful. So his form is wonderfully beautiful. And so I want to read some verses here from Bhagavatam, that subsequent verses here in this chapter that describe in detail the form of Lord Nrsimhadev. And it may be different from the form that you actually think that Lord Nrsimhadev looks like, because we've all seen deities of Lord Nrsimhadev and paintings of Lord Nrsimhadev. So that's generally the mental image we have of Lord Nrsimhadev. But Srimad Bhagavatam gives a description which may surprise you, some features of Lord Nrsimhadev. And Bhagavatam is the Parama Pramanam. It's the highest evidence. So we can trust that the descriptions in the Bhagavatam are the absolute factual descriptions of the Lord. So let's hear these descriptions. So we read 17 just there. I'll go to 19. You can follow along if you want. Hiranyakashipu studied the form of the Lord, trying to decide who the form of Nrsimhadev standing before him was. The Lord's form was extremely fearsome because of his angry eyes, which resembled molten gold, his shining mane, which expanded the dimensions of his fearful face, his deadly teeth, and his razor-sharp tongue, which moved about like a dueling sword. So just imagine this. He's got his mouth open, and his tongue is like a sword, dueling sword. So that means it's active, right? Active sword is like, yeah, yeah, ooh, right? So the tongue is going, it's sharp, and it's long, and it's moving about in his mouth like it's going to cut someone's head off or something. His ears were erect and motionless, and his nostrils and gaping mouth appeared like the caves of a mountain. So he had these big nostrils that were like dark caverns, and his mouth was also very deep and dark, like a cave. So there's this frightening imagery of a dark cave, a sword that's about to slice through something. His jaws parted fearfully, and his entire body touched the sky. He was big. His entire body touched the sky. So he was standing before Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu was like a speck. He was just like a speck compared to Lord Nrsimhadev, who was so tall. You could practically not see the top of him, the top of his head. His neck was very short and thick, his chest broad, his waist thin, and the hairs on his body as white as the rays of the moon. We don't usually think of Lord Nrsimhadev as this, but the hairs on his body were white. White as the rays of the moon. So they're not just white, but like this white that has a transcendental effulgence, right? This cooling, soothing, luminous white. And his whole body is glowing with that moon-like effulgence from his hair and from his natural effulgence. His arms, which resembled flanks of soldiers, spread in all directions as he killed the demons, rogues, and atheists with his conch shell, disc, club, lotus, and other natural weapons. So Lord Nrsimhadev has many arms. The deity of Nrsimhadev in Mayapur has 8 arms, but it's described in later verses that he has unlimited arms. And so flanks of soldiers means like the army's going into battle. There's the general in the lead, and then by his side, there's just hundreds and thousands of soldiers. So here's Lord Nrsimhadev, and then by his side, he has all these arms, and they're all equipped with weapons, and they're like soldiers in his army that are going into battle to kill all of these demons, because Hiranyakashipu is the main demon, but he also had his demoniac allies. So after Hiranyakashipu was killed, they all tried, pathetically of course, to attack Lord Nrsimhadev, and they were killed by all these arms. And so in each of his arms there's a different weapon, many other weapons, and all of them were natural weapons. They weren't like, machine guns and things like that. They were like conch, club, lotus, disc, and other things like that. So I'm going to skip now to 29. Continuing the description. As a snake captures a mouse, or Garuda captures a very venomous snake, Lord Nrsimhadev captured Hiranyakashipu, who could not be pierced even by the thunderbolt of King Indra. As Hiranyakashipu moved his limbs here, there, and all around, very much afflicted at being captured, Lord Nrsimhadev placed the demon on his lap, supporting him with his thighs, and in the doorway of the assembly hall, the Lord very easily tore the demon to pieces with the nails of his hand. So remember, Lord Nrsimhadev is as big as the sky. So his lap is not just here, it's like way up here somewhere. And Hiranyakashipu is tiny. So, and when Lord Nrsimhadev picks him up, with his nails, his claws of his hand, Hiranyakashipu is just like all of his limbs, his arms, his leg, his head, they're just flailing all over. And it's like, it's almost like cartoon-esque, if you've seen movies, these old movies like Godzilla or something, when Godzilla picks up some poor little human, the human's just like a tiny little thing, like an ant-like creature in his hand, and he's just like, and then he gets crushed. So it's this. So Hiranyakashipu is like that. When he picks him up, he's just this totally like an ant. And even it's said in the song that we usually sing, Tanu Bringam means just like an insect. Bringam means an insect, like a wasp. It's translated. He's just like an insect in the hand, and all of his limbs are just going crazy, like a cockroach when he's lying on his back. His legs roll. So he's like that, like an insect. And then he just puts him effortlessly. He just picks him up and he just puts him on his lap and tore him apart with his nails. So continuing here. Lord Nrsimhadev's mouth and mane were sprinkled with drops of blood. So just imagine that white mane, the white, flowing white hair, and it's sprinkled with drops of blood. So it's like very beautiful, this red on the white, nice contrasting colors. And his fierce eyes, full of anger, were impossible to look at. He was so angry that you just couldn't look at his eyes, otherwise you would feel like you were going to get burnt to ashes by his anger. Licking the edge of his mouth with his tongue. So remember that tongue that's like a sword, and he's licking his mouth all around, which makes him look even more fierce, right? The blood and the mouth that's like a cave, and then that sword-like tongue that's licking his lips. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nrsimhadev, decorated with a garland of intestines taken from Hiranyakashipu's abdomen, resembled a lion that had just killed an elephant. So if you've ever seen one of those documentaries where a lion is chasing its prey and then pounces on it, and so then afterwards the lion is just like, and he's like breathing. You can see he's like, because he's just been in hot pursuit of the animal. So Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Nrsimhadev is he's like breathing, and his whole body is just into it, and like that. Yeah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who had many, many arms, first uprooted Hiranyakashipu's heart and threw him aside and turned towards the demon soldiers. Poor soldiers. These soldiers had come in thousands to fight with him with raised weapons and were very faithful followers of Hiranyakashipu, but Lord Nrsimhadev killed all of them merely with the ends of his nails. Manifesting a full effulgence and a fearsome countenance, Lord Nrsimhadev, being very angry and finding no contestant to face his power and opulence, then sat down in the assembly hall. Did I skip? Oh, I skipped. Sorry, I skipped. The pages turned 2 at a time. So now 32. Yeah. The hair on Nrsimhadev's head shook the clouds and scattered them here and there. So remember, he was so tall that he was like touching the sky. So when he was like that, then his mane was, the hairs of his mane were flying around like that, and causing the clouds to scatter. They were just blowing the clouds way far away. His glaring eyes stole the effulgence of the luminaries in the sky. So his eyes were previously described as golden, and they're also very fiery and effulgent. And so because of the glowing of his eyes, you couldn't see the stars anymore. It just eclipsed everything. And his breathing agitated the seas and oceans. So remember, he's like, and the breath that's coming, when he inhales, like the way the moon affects the ocean and causes the tides because of that magnetic pull. So when he inhales, it's sucking all the ocean towards him. And when he exhales, it's pushing it all away. So it's causing these tsunamis, like these waves are rising and crashing down with each one of his breaths. Because of his roaring, all the elephants in the world began to cry and fear. Usually an elephant is a very bold, courageous creature because they're the biggest creature in the jungle. But hearing Lord Nrsimhadev's roaring, they call out in fear. Airplanes were thrown into outer space, and the upper planetary systems on the hair... Airplanes were thrown into outer space and the upper planetary system by the hair on Nrsimhadev's head. So not only were the clouds blown away by the movement of his hair, but even airplanes and spaceships in outer space were thrown out of orbit. They were thrown out of their path. So he was so tall that even it was affecting the upper planetary systems, way, way above the Earth's orbit, the Earth's atmosphere. Because of the pressure of the Lord's lotus feet, the Earth appeared to slip from its position. So because he was so heavy and he was pushing down, the power of his form was causing the Earth to also move out of its orbit. And all the hills and mountains sprang up due to his intolerable force. So just imagine the situation on the planet. The Earth was going down. It's kind of like when you have an air mattress. Someone's lying on an air mattress and you push down one part and the other part pops up. So his foot is pushing down on the Earth, and the mountains are popping up and the hills are popping up. So it's like pretty crazy. Let's see. The mountains sprang up because of the Lord's bodily effulgence, both the sky and all directions diminished in their natural illumination. And then the last one we'll read here. Manifesting a full effulgence and a fearsome countenance, Lord Nrsimhadev, being very angry and finding no contestant to face his power and opulence, then sat down in the assembly hall on the excellent throne of the king. Because of fear and obedience, no one could come forward to serve the Lord directly. So, this is quite an awesome form, right? When you really meditate on the description of the form here, it's Adbhuta Rupa. It's a wonderful form, something never before seen in this world. It's quite overwhelming, right, to think of. So today is the day on the appearance day of the Lord. It's nice to really meditate very deeply on his form, on his pastimes. So take some time today to just close your eyes and maybe you want to go back and read these verses again and meditate on the form of the Lord. It's very purifying, and also because Lord Nrsimhadev appeared for the protection of his devotees. So although this form is described as being very fierce because of his anger, because of his size, because of his appearance, but for devotees he's not fierce at all. For the devotees he's comforting. Just like law-abiding citizens are not afraid of the police. They actually feel protected. They feel secure by the policeman's presence. But someone who's a criminal, they're afraid when they see the police. They're, oh no, here come the cops. We got to get out of here. Right? So the demons, when they see Lord Nrsimhadev, they have that criminal mentality that they've rebelled against the Lord. And so they're like, oh no, they're fleeing. But devotees like Prahlad, he's just standing there like, wow, my Lord is so wonderful, so beautiful, so amazing, so loving. Because it's out of affection, actually, that Lord Nrsimhadev appeared. He could have killed Hiranyakashipu easy, just by looking at him. He didn't have to appear to kill Hiranyakashipu. So he didn't actually come out of anger. He came out of love. The appearance of Lord Nrsimhadev is a manifestation of the Lord's affection for his devotees. And out of affection, he appears in this form to protect his devotees and to make devotees feel always safe and secure. So Lord Nrsimhadev will certainly protect all his devotees, not just Prahlad Maharaj, but any devotee who's serving him, who's trying to develop a relationship with him, come closer to him by chanting, by serving, by associating with devotees, by hearing about his pastimes. Lord Nrsimhadev is always present. He's present for us at all times, at all places. And so like we sing, Ito Nrsimho, Parato Nrsimho, Yato Yato, Yami Tato Nrsimho. It means that Lord Nrsimhadev is here. Lord Nrsimhadev is there. Lord Nrsimhadev is everywhere. So just that Prahlad had that faith that he's everywhere. And then Bahir Nrsimho, Hridaye Nrsimho. He's outside and he's also in my heart. He's as close as can be. He's right here in my heart. He's always with me, all around me and even within me. Bahir Nrsimho, Hridaye Nrsimho, Nrsimham Adim Sharanam Prapadye. And therefore I surrender. I approach the Lord in a mood of surrender, taking full shelter of him as my Lord and Master and Protector. So we can be confident, whatever we're doing in our services, going out and preaching or traveling, there's so many dangers because this world is padam padam yat vi padam natesham, danger at every step. So we can take shelter of Lord Nrsimhadev and pray for his protection from antagonistic elements and just the dangers of this world. But actually the external dangers that we face are not really, are not the real difficulties. The real challenge, the real dangers or the real enemies that we have to face in life are internal. Our own anartas, our own bad qualities like lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, and illusion, ignorance, and madness. The madness which causes us to forget Krishna and think that we're the controllers and enjoyers of this world. So we can also pray to Lord Nrsimhadev to, just like he tore out the intestines and the heart of Hiranyakashipu, we can pray to him to tear out all these anartas, remove our internal enemies so that we can proceed safely and progressively, steadily along the path of devotion. In Sri Manashiksha, Raghunath Goswami, I think it's in the second verse, he talks about how on this effulgent path of devotion, I'm being attacked by a gang of highway robbers. And who are this gang? They're headed by lust. And his followers are anger, greed, madness, all those things I just mentioned. So this is the gang. And he says that I am being killed. They're carrying these strong ropes, and they're putting them around my neck like nooses, and they're pulling me off the path. They're trying to deviate me from the path of devotion that leads to Krishna's lotus feet. So then the advice that Raghunath Das Goswami gives, because Manashiksha is instructions to the mind. So he says, "Oh mind, in this very dangerous and fearful situation, call out to the devotees of the Lord, and they will come to save you." So it's just very nice. And related to this, I wanted to share with you a song. This is, it's a prayer to Lord Nrsimhadev that's taken from a book by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's called Sri Navadvip Bhava Taranga. So this is, it's kind of like a supplementary work to Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, in which Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes the glories of Navadvip Dham. And amongst those glories are the glories of Lord Nrsimhadev, who also resides eternally in Sri Navadvip Dham. So, yeah, so we'll sing this song together. It goes to the tune of, there's different ways we could sing it, but I'll sing it in the tune of Gauranga Bolite Habe. So let's just sing it together, all in unison, because my voice is not great, but all together we'll sound good. Ready? He dushta hridaye kama adiri puchaya kutinati pratishtasha satya sadaraya. Perpetually residing within my wicked heart are the 6 enemies headed by lust, as well as duplicity, the desire for recognition, and deceit. So these are the enemies that we are talking about. These are the real problems for us in life. Let's go to the next one. Hridaya Shodhana Ara Krishnara Basana Nrsimha Charane More Eto Kamana. My prayer at the lotus feet of Sri Nrsimhadev is that he will purify my heart and awaken longing within me for serving Sri Krishna. So this is when we pray to Lord Nrsimhadev, or when we worship Lord Nrsimhadev, we have to always remember that Lord Nrsimhadev is not our Ishtadev. Lord Nrsimhadev is not the person, the goal, or the person that we are desiring to worship eternally in the spiritual world. Maybe for some of us, but for the most part, we're aiming for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So Lord Nrsimhadev is that incarnation of the Lord who, like all other incarnations of the Lord, appears in the service of Krishna. So just like Lord Balaram, he's the first incarnation of the Lord, and he considers himself the supreme personality of servitor Godhead. And we see in Krishna's pastimes, he's protecting Krishna, he's assisting Krishna, he's facilitating Krishna's pastimes. So all the incarnations, they're all expansions of Krishna, right? Ete chamsa kala pumsam, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the original supreme personality of Godhead, and all the other incarnations are his portions or plenary portions. They're his amshas. They're like rays of the sun that expand from him, and they expand for serving him. So the service that Lord Nrsimhadev does for Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, is one that he protects the devotees, like we see he protected Prahlad, and 2, he removes the obstacles on the path of bhakti. So these highway robbers that come, the lust, anger, greed, when they come to put their noose around our neck and try to pull us off, then Lord Nrsimhadev comes and he drives them away. He's called Bhakti Bigna Vinasa. Bhakti Bigna Vinasa Nrsimhadev. So Bigna means obstacles, and Vinasha means destroys. So he destroys the obstacles to bhakti for his devotees. And so that's what we're talking about here. And Jananivas Prabhu always calls him the doctor, that so he's like a surgeon, expert surgeon, and he has his surgical instruments, the nails, his very sharp, razor-sharp nails, and he can do the diagnosis on us and see exactly what are our anartas, what are those things in our heart that are blocking us, that are pulling us off the path, threatening to pull us off the path. And if we pray to him, then he can do a very precise surgical operation and remove those things from our heart. So this is how Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying. Please remove these things from my heart. Purify my heart and awaken longing within me for serving Krishna. Because the longing to serve Krishna is there. That's our eternal nature. Jivera Swarupahoy Krishnara Nitya Das. The eternal constitutional position, the eternal nature of the living entity is to serve Krishna. But that that identity of servant of Krishna, that serving propensity is covered, it's crushed, it's pushed down by the weight of all these anarthas that are that are contaminating our hearts. And so as soon as these anarthas, as soon as the coverings and conditioning are removed, then the natural longing to serve Krishna will rise, it will manifest, it will spring up, and that will become our modus operandi for life, because that's who we are, that's inherently who we are. Okay, so let's continue here to the third verse. Kadiya Nrsimha Pade Magibo Kakona Nirapade Navadvipe Jugala Bhajana. When will I, crying at the feet of Sri Nrsimhadev, beg him that I may engage in the bhajan of Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yugala in Sri Navadvip Dham, safe from all danger? So here he's making very clear the goal and the purpose with which he's calling out to Lord Nrsimhadev. So he's crying at the feet of Lord Nrsimhadev, begging him, please, please facilitate me. Please enable me to engage in the worship of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna in Navadvip Dham. So Navadvip Dham is non-different from Vrindavan Dham. So praying to worship Radha and Krishna in Navadvip Dham is the same as praying to worship Radha and Krishna in Vraj. Except that Navadvip Dham is actually a better place to worship Krishna, because in Navadvip Dham there's no consideration of offenses. So it's a safe place. And especially with Lord Nrsimhadev, we're especially safe. So he's saying, please remove all the obstacles. Let me worship Radha and Krishna in Navadvip Dham, safe from all danger. So he's saying, when will I do this? So he's praying for the desire, to have the desire to beg like this. When will I cry at the feet of Lord Nrsimhadev? When will I beg him to engage in this service? So it's kind of like it's like with a tone of lamentation that I'm so disconnected, I'm so fallen, I'm so far away from what should be my real aspiration. I'm desiring so many other things instead of desiring to worship Radha and Krishna in Navadvip. So when will I beg for this and cry for Lord Nrsimhadev's help in this matter, which is the purpose, ultimate purpose of my life? So we can also have that mood that I'm thinking about so many things. Let me just think about the real goal, worshiping Radha and Krishna, and how to attain that goal, and take shelter of those personalities who can help me attain that goal, like Lord Nrsimhadev. Let's go to number 4. Bhaya bhaya paya jara darshana se hari prasana hayo bekabe more daya kori. When will that Sri Hari, the sight of whom strikes fear into fear itself, become pleased with me and show me his mercy? So here he's using the name Sri Hari to show that Nrsimhadev is non-different from Lord Hari, or Lord Krishna. In fact, there are countless incarnations of Krishna, and most of them are just partially empowered, or portions of his energies. But there are 3 incarnations of the Lord who are fully empowered. They are equipped with all of the powers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And those are Lord Balaram, and Lord Vishnu, and Lord Nrsimhadev. So Lord Nrsimhadev is one of those, extremely powerful, that he has all the potencies of Krishna. He doesn't have all the qualities and doesn't have the pastimes of Krishna, but he has the potencies of Krishna. And so he's actually immensely qualified, like unlimitedly qualified to help us if we just take shelter of him and call out to him. So Nrsimham Adim Sharanam Prapade. Prapade means to approach. Like pad means feet and pra means to go forward. So it literally means to move your feet forward towards the Lord. So we need to take steps toward the Lord, approach him, and sharanam, take shelter of him. And he has the power. And no job is too big for him. We may think, I'm so fallen, I'm so conditioned, I'm so sinful, I'm such a rascal. But there's nothing, for the Lord, the all-powerful Lord Nrsimhadev, all these things are just insignificant for him. So we just need to please him. And when he's pleased, then he'll shower us with his mercy. 5. Yadyapi Vishana Murti Dushta Jiva Prati Praladadi Krishna Bhakta Jane Badrati. Although he appears as the embodiment of terror to the wicked, to Prahlad and other devotees of Sri Krishna, he is exceedingly kind and gentle. Exceedingly kind and gentle. So it's so sweet. And when we think of the pastime as described in the Bhagavatam, even the demigods are afraid, because the demigods they have some material motivations. So if you have material desires and material attachments, there's always, even if you're a devotee, there's still some fear and insecurity. But for a devotee like Prahlad, who's totally just surrendered to the Lord, no material desires whatsoever, just focused on pleasing the Lord, preaching the Lord's glories, bringing others to the Lord, then Lord Nrsimhadev is just kind and gentle and affectionate. So out of every other personality in the universe, the only one that wasn't afraid of Lord Nrsimhadev, who we just heard is feared by fear personified and who strikes terror into everyone, the only one who wasn't afraid of him was little Prahlad. He wasn't afraid at all. He's just like, wow, Lord Nrsimhadev, you're so cool. You just came just from the pillar just because I said you would. It's just like, so sweet. Text 6. Kabe ba prasanna haye sakripa bhakshane nirbhaya koribe mudha akinchane. When, oh when, will he be pleased with me, and speaking words brimming with compassion, make this insignificant fool fearless? So, unfortunately, we're not so advanced as Prahlad. We still have fears. We still have worries, anxieties, insecurities. And that's, like I was saying, that's because of our material attachments and our material desires, our identification with this body, with this mind, and all these temporary things that are doomed to be destroyed. And so when we're facing the inevitable destruction of everything that's near and dear to us, including our own bodies, then it's difficult to be fearless. So this prayer is a prayer for Lord Nrsimhadev to bestow his compassion on us, to break all these attachments, to dissolve all these misidentifications, to destroy our false ego and establish us in our real self, our real eternal self, and our loving relationship with Krishna, which is beyond all fear. Okay, so Bhaktivinoda Thakur he's praying, he's really calling out, he's really imploring Lord Nrsimhadev to help him on the path of bhakti, to protect him and inspire him and free him from attachments. And when we pray to the Lord reciprocates, he responds. So now we're going to hear in the next couple of verses how the Lord responds. So this is actually Lord Nrsimhadev speaking in these verses, which are composed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Swachande boiso he batsa Shri Gauranga dame Jugala bhajana hau Rati hau name. Lord Nrsimhadev says, "O dear child, reside here freely in Sri Gauranga's abode. May you remain engaged in the loving service of the divine couple, and may you develop deep attraction for Sri Nam." So this is in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prayer. He's feeling, he's he's meditating that Lord Nrsimhadev is saying this. My dear child, he uses this word vatsa, like the vatsalya rasa. And this is the relationship that a devotee has with Lord Nrsimhadev, the relationship of vatsalya. Because when Lord Nrsimhadev comes to protect Prahlad, he's a small child. And Prahlad, he sees Lord Nrsimhadev like a loving, caring father who's coming to protect him, to care for him, to provide for all of his needs. So we devotees also, like Prahlad, we can relate to Lord Nrsimhadev as a loving, protective father. And we're just his innocent, vulnerable, weak little children who are struggling to do bhakti, just like little kids trying to get the moon, trying to get something so big and calling out to our Father, Daddy, can I have that? So we want bhakti, we want Krishna prema. And Lord Nrsimhadev can kick out all the obstacles and bring us to that place. He can bring us to the Dham. And that's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. The Lord Nrsimhadev is saying, my dear child, yes, reside here freely in Sri Gauranga's Dham. Go to Navadvip. Experience the Dham. Live here. This is your place after all. You're an eternal servant of Krishna. Your natural place is to live in the abode of Krishna. So by Lord Nrsimhadev's mercy, we're all very fortunate that we're here in the abode of Sri Sri Radhakala Chanji, which is also Sri Gauranga's Dham. Nitai Gauranga are right there on the altar. And he's giving us his blessing. May you remain engaged in the loving service of the divine couple. So we're engaging in so many services for the divine couple here. And as we go on serving the deities, we'll have deeper and deeper realizations of the divine couple and our relationship with them and our eternal services for them. And his blessing is also that may you develop deep attraction for Sri Nam, the holy name of Krishna. So we're so fortunate that in Kali Yuga, the Lord has kindly manifest in the form of his holy names, that it may be difficult for us to appreciate the Lord's presence everywhere as Lord Nrsimhadev, his all-pervasive presence, that he's in everything, even the pillars, or even to connect with Radhakala Chanji. Sometimes we may think, oh, how is it he's just standing there? How is he really interacting? How is he reciprocating with me in my practical life? But the holy name is right there, is just there all the time and very accessible. And as soon as we chant the holy name, we can immediately feel solace, we can feel comfort, we can feel inspiration and all these things. So this weekend we have the great opportunity, the Sadhu Sangha event is happening, and we have this opportunity to really accept and apply the blessing of Lord Nrsimhadev that we're receiving here. May you develop deep attraction for Sri Nam, because we have the opportunity to go there and just immerse ourselves all day long in Sri Nam, chanting in kirtan, chanting in japa, like that. So that when we go to Sadhu Sangha and we're chanting, let's meditate on Lord Nrsimhadev and pray to him at that time also. We should pray to him all the time, but at that time also, that please let me develop attraction, deep attraction for Sri Nam, for your holy names. Let me just kick out all the obstacles, all the distractions, all the mental platform that's obstructing me from connecting with Radha and Krishna in the sound vibration of their holy names. Text 8. Mama bhakta kripa bale vigna jabe dura shuddha chitte bhajo radha Krishna rasa pura. So this is Lord Nrsimhadev continuing. On the strength of my devotee's mercy, all obstacles are cast far away. With a pure heart, engage in bhajan of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, which is saturated with rasa. So here we have the word right here in the verse of vigna. So vigna, I was talking about, Lord Nrsimhadev is bhakti vigna vinasa. And here he's literally saying, let all these vignas be cast far away on the strength of my devotee's mercy. So that was the prayer of Raghunath Das Goswami in Manashiksha, that I'm being attacked by these enemies, lust, anger, greed, and so forth. And he says, oh mind, call out to the devotees of Baka, the enemy of Bakasura. He specifically mentions that name, the killer of Baka. Call out to Krishna. So the devotees of Krishna. And Lord Nrsimhadev is also saying, on the strength of my devotees. So it's so interesting that the Lord is the Lord himself, and he's saying, you're calling out to me, but it's on the strength of my devotees that your obstacles are going to be removed. So there's this relationship between the Lord and the devotees, that the devotees like, I can't do anything, but Krishna can help you. And the Lord's saying, it's the devotees who are going to help you. So actually, it's both of them. There's this loving pact between the Lord and his devotees, that they're working together to help all of us to make spiritual advancement. So we need to serve the devotees and serve the Lord, serve those who serve the Lord, and by their combined mercy only, right? Because by the mercy of Krishna, we get a guru, and by the mercy of guru, we get Krishna. So it's not one or the other, it's both. We're totally dependent on both. And so Lord Nrsimha is saying, with a pure heart. So now I'll take away all your obstacles and leave you with a pure heart. And with that pure heart, just worship. Engage in worship of Radha and Krishna, which is saturated in rasa. So rasa means that juice. It means that sweet nectarian emotion that we feel when we serve Radha and Krishna purely. And that's the nectar for which we're always anxious. Right? Everyone's looking for some sweet taste out of life. We're looking for some happiness or pleasure, or some feeling that just inspires us to go on. It gives us enthusiasm to live. And so that what we're really looking for is this rasa, this nectar that comes from serving Radha and Krishna purely. Okay, the last couplet here, number 9. E boli kabe mora mastaka upara swiya shri charana harshe dhori be ishvara. After having said such, when will that Lord happily place his lotus feet upon my head? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is imagining that the Lord has appeared to him. The Lord has spoken to him. And seeing the Lord, he's paying his obeisances. He's bowing his head at the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadev. And he is hoping that the Lord is going to lift up his feet and just put his lotus feet on his head and fully bless him in that way. So the last part. Amani yugala preme satvika vikare dharaya lutibo ami Shri Nrsimha Dware. At once in the divine prema of Sri Sri Radha Krishna Yugala, I shall undergo ecstatic transformations, sattvika vikara, and roll about on the ground at the door of Sri Nrsimhadev's temple. So this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's meditation on Navadvip Dham. And in Navadvip Dham, there's the temple of at Nrsimhapali. There's this beautiful deity, self-manifested deity of Lord Nrsimhadev. So he's going to that temple and he's seeing that form of Lord Nrsimhadev, and he's seeing not just the deity of this, this stone manifested, the manifestation of Lord Nrsimhadev out of the stone, but he's seeing the actual form of Lord Nrsimhadev, and he's offering his prayers personally to Lord Nrsimhadev, and Lord Nrsimhadev is personally reciprocating by speaking to him, by encouraging him and blessing him. So we see how the deity is very real, very alive, if we have the eyes to see it and the heart to feel it. So he's lying on the ground and rolling about at the doorway of Lord Nrsimhadev's temple after having received this transcendental darshan. And he's, by the mercy of Lord Nrsimhadev, he's experiencing this divine prema, the love, divine love for Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, the divine couple, and he's experiencing all these ecstatic symptoms and rolling on the ground. So this is again confirming that although he's at the temple of Lord Nrsimhadev, he's standing in front of the deity of Lord Nrsimhadev, and he's having this personal reciprocation of Lord Nrsimhadev, but his love is for Radha and Krishna. His heart is going to Radha and Krishna, and the ecstasy that he's feeling and experiencing and exhibiting is for the divine couple, Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. So this is the role that Lord Nrsimhadev plays in our lives. As Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we're followers of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya taught us to chant Hare Krishna and worship Radha and Krishna. And Lord Nrsimhadev has appeared to help us in that glorious endeavor, to remove the obstacles, to give us the inspiration, to protect us on the path, and to bless us with this divine prema for Radha and Krishna. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Sri Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai. Any comments or questions or reflections on this little meditation on the form and the mercy of Lord Nrsimhadev? Yes, Premamrita.
I looked up what anarthas the demon baka represents, because this is the prayer that Raghunath Das Thakur is saying, like, let me pray to the devotees to save me from these enemies.
Yeah.
Pray to the devotees of the killer of the demon of Bakasura. And the demon Bakasura represents deceptive behavior, duplicity, and hypocrisy. I just thought that was interesting.
Good. Yeah, and that was the first thing that was mentioned in this prayer in the very first verse. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, he says, yeah, perpetually residing within my wicked heart, the 6 enemies headed by lust, as well as duplicity and the desire for recognition and deceit. Yeah, so that duplicity is represented by baka. Yeah, duplicity means two things. There's being two-faced. You know that externally, I'm a devotee. I've got my sari, I got my tilak, my garland, and I'm like, you know, my neck beads, I'm a devotee. But inside, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on that's not a devotee. So, yeah, so to free us, like, just get rid of all this stuff that's not my real devotional self, so that I can be free from duplicity and just be who I really am. Yeah.
I was just thinking that, like, for me personally, I definitely have, these things in my heart, lust and duplicity, desire for recognition and deceit and everything else. But I want to still, like, wear sari and wear my tulsi beads and wear my tilak and pray sincerely and chant attentively when I'm in the association of devotees, even if I don't chant attentively when I'm not in the association of devotees or whatever it may be. So how do we kind of distinguish between being deceitful and just, like, trying but knowing that you're not there internally?
Thank you. Yeah, good question. So yeah, all we can do is try our best, right? And those things, they take time to remove. But the fact that we're trying to get free from them, just like I was hearing a class about the stages of chanting, and namaparad means offensive chanting, is when you're just chanting and you don't even care. You're chanting, you're pronouncing the syllables, but it's like you're not even trying to be attentive. You're not even trying, and you may be committing sinful activities in the strength of the name and all kinds of nonsense. But as soon as you're trying to chant without offenses, as soon as you're conscious of offenses and you're really trying to bring your mind back every time it gets distracted, you're trying to, do everything right and chant purely, as soon as you're making that attempt, then that immediately brings you to namabhas chanting, which gives liberation. So it's not pure chanting yet, but it's we're out of the danger zone of namaparad, where we're not making much advancement at all. So there's a lot of merit in trying. And that's what Krishna sees. He sees our endeavor, right? And then he helps. So those things may be there, but we're still devotees as long as we're trying to get rid of them, as long as we're trying to be conscious. We're constantly correcting ourselves. When we make an offense, we feel terrible about it and we go and apologize, and like that. When we understand that we've acted out of lust or anger or greed, we just, we're falling at the feet of the devotees and the Lord and begging for help to be able to overcome those bad qualities. Yeah, that's what it means to be a devotee. Sadhaka. Sadhana bhakti means devotional service and practice. So we're practicing to be devotees. That's what sadhana bhakti is. So we're practicing to be devotees. And our pure state is something very different. But right now we're practicing. And practice makes perfect. Anything else? Okay. So let us spend our day absorbed in meditation on Lord Nrsimhadev, his name, his form, his qualities, his pastimes, and pray to him to be able to absorb ourselves in the worship of Sri Sri Radhakala Chanji and deeper meditations on Radha and Krishna, deeper absorption in the holy names of Krishna. We'll have many opportunities to do kirtan today. We can chant extra rounds and present our prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev in the mood of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That's one of the, in Nectar Devotion it said that we should, one of the items of devotional service is to offer notable prayers. So in addition to offering our personal individualized prayers that we compose ourselves just out of our spontaneous feelings, we can also offer prayers that have been offered by the acharyas who are exemplary devotees, and that way we can pray very purely to the Lord following in their footsteps. So, Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.
Prabhu ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So I just want to take a moment to welcome some wonderful devotees we have with us here today. His Grace Madhava Prabhu and Her Grace Radhika Prabhu. Very happy to have you all here. Hari Bo. There was also a Param Brahma Prabhu, the brahmachari that led Mangalartik today. We want to welcome him. Hare Krishna Prabhu, welcome. Very nice to see you. Hare Krishna, Hari Bo. And we also want to welcome back Radha Krishna Prabhu, Lakshmi Prabhu, and Jaisnav and Nainanvita. Wonderful to have you all back. Remaining schedule for today, we'll have until 5 o'clock. And at 5 o'clock, we'll have And at 5 o'clock, we will have kirtan again here in the temple room. At 5:30 p.m., we'll do Abhishek of Lord Nrsimhadev. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll have class given by His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj, His Holiness Rutavaja Maharaj. And we just found out that His Holiness Nrsimha Swami will join as well to give the class. So we'll have a nice class at 6 o'clock. So please don't miss that. And then around 7 o'clock, I think the time might flex a little bit for the class. It might go a little longer. But around 7 o'clock, we'll have the Vaishnavi performance here in the temple room. And at 7:30, we'll have kirtan by His Grace Madhava Prabhu here. So please have a nice day, conserve your energy, do as much service as you can, chant and read, absorb ourselves in Lord Nrsimhadev, and we'll all come back again at 5 o'clock to keep going.